Last time we saw what Trunks was up to, leading to his encounter with Goku Black, as well as the Supreme Kai of his timeline. It might seem like Goku Black's plan is falling apart, but actually, he's worked out the perfect solution. What's his next course of action going to be? We'll be seeing all that and more in part 3 of What If Goku Black Arrived Early. In the future timeline, Beerus is able to find Trunks. It is a bit of an awkward meeting though. He did break intergalactic law by time traveling, so Beerus isn't really too sure how to feel about that. But he'll look the other way, as long as this guy comes to his planet and trains under him, in order to become the Super Saiyan God. Plus, he wants to get some Earth food as well. Now, Trunks isn't really too sure about all of this, but he doesn't have a choice either, because it's a god of destruction talking to him. And once Shin explains more of who Beerus is, Trunks realizes that it's better that he just goes along with it. But also it will be good for him because he's going to grow strong enough to actually defeat Goku Black, if he shows up again and is stronger. As he is right now, Trunks should be stronger than him, but they don't know what Goku Black's been up to, and they don't know how strong he's going to be the next time they see him. He's taken to Beerus' planet to train. He's still mad that he let Goku Black go, but Beerus says he could use that as a motivator. Those feelings of doubt and anger, use that to grow stronger. And besides, Beerus tells him this apparently happened in the past as well. Because remember, everyone got the news of Goku Black in the other timelines. So Goku Black's not his fault, especially because he wasn't the only one who let him get away. Although, he does slightly diss Trunks and say that he might be at fault for actually creating Goku Black. Without him time traveling, who knows if Goku Black would have been a thing. But that's neither here nor there. Point being, he wants to see Trunks grow as strong as possible. They're not really too worried about Goku Black, because if he does show up, Beerus will just defeat him himself. Although, he'd rather see Trunks do it, and he knows Trunks feels the same way. Beerus wants to see Trunks grow as powerful as possible. Who knows how strong Goku Black is at the moment? If Trunks really wants to make up for letting Goku Black go, defeat him next time. Become the Super Saiyan God. Make it so Goku Black can't win, and he can't escape either. He knows Trunks is capable of it. It is a prophecy after all. At least according to his dream and the Oracle Fish. But that still leaves one loose end. Why did Beerus not dream of Goku Black? He heard about him after the fact, but shouldn't he have dreamt of him as well, like present Beerus did? No one actually realized this yet, but strangely enough, it seems like Goku Black's going to be a bigger threat to the main timeline than the future timeline. If that weren't the case, future Beerus would have woken up earlier and would have killed Goku Black himself. Or at least he would have dreamt of him and realized that he was a threat. But future Beerus was only told about the Super Saiyan God, and he vaguely referred to Goku Black. But in the present timeline, it's the exact opposite. He overtly referred to Goku Black, as well as also referring to the Super Saiyan God. But of course, present and future Beerus aren't in contact, so they don't realize this discrepancy. So, speaking of present Beerus, what's going on in that timeline? Of course, Goku and Vegeta are still training under Whis there. Eventually, they are able to get Super Saiyan God. This is months after the whole Goku Black incident. And there's not really anything else arriving on Earth at this point, so we could skip ahead even further, and eventually they get Super Saiyan Blue even. Everybody knows they're at risk, specifically Goku, and even on Earth they're making preparations. Mainly Piccolo trying to whip Gohan into shape just in case he shows up while Goku and Vegeta are gone. It's nothing too serious, but they realize that they can't be too prepared. It is better to prepare for the worst. But they obviously know Goku's the biggest target because he was the one whose body was stolen in the first place. And they still don't know what Goku Black has in mind. If he comes to attack Goku again, or if someone else tries to steal Goku's body for that matter, like another version of Zamasu or something, they need a strong person to fight that. Although it's not just these two that get Super Saiyan God. In the future timeline, a little bit after them, Trunks also unlocks the same exact form as them, getting the Super Saiyan God form. For all three of them respectively, it did take longer than normal. I mean, obviously for Goku because he didn't do the ritual this time, but all three of them were working basically from scratch. They didn't know how to get the form besides the fact that they just needed to train, unlock Godly Ki, and then manifest that in form somehow, because they were all working without the ritual here. Obviously Trunks was, but also the two in the present timeline, because there was no pan for the ritual either. So the ritual wasn't even an option unless they somehow got someone else involved. But no one even thought of that because the whole encounter with Beerus went different in the first place. Although, the method doesn't really matter because they got the form regardless, so they should be all set for now, especially with Goku and Vegeta in the present timeline going beyond Super Saiyan God. Just as Goku is Beerus' rival in the present, Trunks is Beerus' rival in the future. Also, I guess Vegeta's kind of a rival to Beerus now. And both incarnations of Beerus are pretty glad to see what's happening with their students, or rather, Whis' students. Not only has his dream been fulfilled, but they've gone beyond that power, and he can't wait to see where they go from here. In both timelines, the Oracle Fish was right. Beerus has found his rival. He just needs them to grow a little bit more because even at their current strength, they're still not going to be able to defeat him. But they've grown significantly over this time. Question is, where do they go from here? This is still very early on, at least relative to when Goku Black showed up. With all the time that's passed now with the training and such, as well as the brief few months after the Buu Saga when Goku Black actually appeared, we're about 2 years ahead of the Buu Saga. So still a few years earlier than when Battle of Gods is supposed to happen, and obviously a little bit after the Buu Saga. Of course, it's not like Goku Black just sitting around doing nothing. He's preparing as well. He was angered having to retreat again, thinking that his own strength is insufficient. But the worst part for him is that he has to lay low. In the future timeline, in the regular story, he was actually able to just do whatever he wanted, fight whoever he wanted. There was no gods of destruction that were watching over him. He didn't have to worry about alerting anyone, and even if he did, he was one of the strongest people there. But here he has to be a lot more careful. Like I mentioned before, he was kind of doing some sort of target practice, where he was going to random weak planets and eliminating them. But even with his insane growth, that's only going to take him so far. That's not going to make him incredibly powerful. He doesn't really have anyone strong to fight in this timeline, and if he did, his power flaring up would definitely alert the gods. He could even travel to the present timeline, but it would be the same case there. But at least in that timeline, there might be some more people to fight, even if they're still weak fighters. But even if he's not getting into intense battles or anything, there is still one thing driving his growth: his anger. That anger that he felt before drove him to get some new power, Super Saiyan. And he keeps trying to channel that anger. He doesn't necessarily need to do this through physical training, but mental training. And it does take a bit of time for him. First, he's able to get better control on Super Saiyan and power that up even further. But to go beyond that, he's going to need something else. He needs to completely rebuild himself somehow. He doesn't know how else he's supposed to unlock power, but anger must be key. That's how he got so strong before, and he always feels strength bubbling up within him whenever he feels anger. It's a gift of his, and he needs to use that gift if he wants to get stronger. And over this time period, while everyone else is getting stronger with Super Saiyan God and even Super Saiyan Blue, Goku Black is able to find something new for himself as well. He's finally done it. He unlocked his own unique form. He doesn't need Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 or 3 for that matter, because he did know about those, but he wasn't going for that. He needed something that he could make his own, and he finally gets that: Super Saiyan Rosé. This is the form that he's going to be able to enact the Zero Mortals plan with. At least, he thinks so. This should be enough power. This is more than enough. It's way more than he had before, at least. But he could tell he could refine it further. He just needs to work a little bit more on it. Especially because he doesn't necessarily know where the others lie in terms of power at the moment. Nothing a little research can't help. Not to mention, the more time to himself, the stronger he grows, and the more he ensures his own victory later on. The Zero Mortals plan might take a bit, but he doesn't mind. Even with this detour, he's going to win in the end, and that's all that matters. But again, it's not like he could just sit around and grow stronger. He needs to take action, and he might have the perfect way to actually do that. And he's playing it a lot more patient this time. This future timeline is his main target after all, so why not start here first? And he can go to some of the weaker universes. Universe 7 is actually one of them because there's not too many strong people left, but they're also probably on highest alert because of that exact reason. So Goku Black considers going to other universes to fight, but he discovers something strange. Amidst his runaway anger, he's able to create a new weapon for himself: the Sickle of Sorrow, some weird key weapon that feels unlike anything he's used before. He does practice fighting with this because this would be the perfect weapon to enact his plans with. But he accidentally stumbles on something weird. He cuts through time. And now, he's had the ability to travel through time thanks to the time ring, but this is different. It's not like he's cutting into timelines that exist, he's just cutting into something that isn't there. Clones of himself pour through it somehow. And he's not sure what's happening at all, but he wants to figure out what's happening with it. He wants to figure out the workings of this because maybe he could use it to his advantage. What if there's other timelines and places that he could travel to that don't exist with the time ring? He can't believe what he just discovered, but he's going to get to the bottom of it because this is interesting. This is way bigger than anything he's seen before. He has a new form, a new weapon, and a new method of travel, which might actually help him grow stronger, especially if he travels through it and finds some new place to train. The possibilities are endless, so he starts to observe and explore. Let's go back to the present timeline for a bit. More time does pass and we eventually get to Resurrection F. Now, with Frieza revived, he's not really going to be doing much because Goku and Vegeta are far stronger than before. They got a huge head start, so he's going to be defeated really easily. They've had Super Saiyan Blue for a bit, and Goku's sure to kill him this time. He doesn't drop his guard either. Whis' training has really been paying off for the both of them, so there's none of that nonsense with him being hit by a laser and anything. Frieza's golden form does seem powerful, but he's not really a threat to them. And for what it's worth, Gohan, Piccolo, and the rest of them are actually able to fend off against Frieza's army a little bit better, thanks to Gohan and Piccolo being marginally stronger. It wasn't the threat that they were preparing for, but it's probably a good thing that it wasn't Goku Black, although still strange that Frieza came back. We eventually get to the Universe 6 tournament as well, which reveals a similar power for the two Saiyans. The team here is pretty much exactly the same, which also includes Buu, who ends up failing the test. Not that it really matters though. Goku's the first to fight. He defeats Potamo, and then against Frost he actually is able to defeat him due to him having such a huge gap in power, although he still does get poisoned amidst the fight. So against Magetta he loses. Not because he's overpowered by Magetta, but the combination of Magetta's steam and the fact that Goku's poisoned, it really does tire him out no matter how strong he's grown. Piccolo's the one to go next. He's able to win against Magetta with insults, and he has a pretty respectable fight with Cabba, and ends up winning against him, although Cabba doesn't learn Super Saiyan. He then goes up against Hit, and he doesn't really last too long, but Vegeta's the one up next. He did study Hit's moves a bit against Piccolo, but didn't really get to see much of him fighting. Not that it really matters though. He's going to be able to adapt mid-fight pretty quickly, especially with his brand new power. He paces himself against Hit first and eventually goes all the way up to Blue. But something's different this time about Blue. All of the aura around him, it gets contained within Vegeta. There's a huge gap in strength between him and Hit. And yes, the two of them still did get their 3 years of training before the tournament. Not to mention the fact that they got Blue way earlier on. He didn't end up getting Blue Evolution because he spent all his time training with Goku, and the two of them stumbled upon something similar, Mastered Blue. Vegeta probably is on the cusp of Blue Evolution, but in the meantime, they were practicing this, and the power of it is pretty intense. Using it, he's actually able to defeat Hit. And he probably could have done this with regular Blue too. You guys have to consider how strong the two of them are at this point. With all of these different experiences earlier on for them, it gave them a huge head start. And this fight gives them even more confidence, because if they defeated the other universe that easily, that fake Kakarot's not going to be an issue for Vegeta. Now, of course, Goku did lose, but they figured out later on that it's because of the poison, which bums Goku out because he missed out on a chance for a good fight. But at least Vegeta got his, and he got a win here. Of course, this entire time, Goku Black's been observing. He hasn't seen much with Trunks because Trunks has really just been training the whole time. But by hopping through timelines and watching the different versions of the God Tube, he was able to actually see the Universe X tournament, and he got to see how strong Goku and Vegeta have grown. But this isn't all he's been doing. He's been training, obviously. And by using the sickle to break through time, he was able to go to other places, things that didn't even exist before, places that he didn't have any way of traveling to. It kind of irks him that he has to train this way because he's basically breaking through the timelines that he wanted to preserve. And it did take a while to get the hang of this, because first of all, he needed to learn what was actually happening, and then figure out a way to control it. But now, he could use his sickle to rip through time, go to different dimensions that he didn't have access to before. For example, he was able to train with weaker clones of himself, but now he's going even beyond that. He doesn't know where this sickle is going to lead him, but wherever it may be, it's probably going to be pretty fun, and a great way for him to grow even stronger. And for all he knows, with the great power that he wields now, the Zero Mortals plan may be far more encompassing than he realized. Not just limited to the main timeline and Trunks' timeline, but even beyond that. Different continuities entirely even. Not only does that spread the scope of the Zero Mortals plan, but that spreads the scope of Goku Black's power, because imagine all the different people he could fight as practice, and all these other dimensions where he doesn't exist. People don't know he's a threat, and they don't know to expect him. It's perfect for training. And the best thing you could do is probably try and find other universes where Goku exists. Same for Trunks, Vegeta, and even Gohan. This will be the perfect way to train, and it allows him to enact his plan as well in the meantime. Imagine that. Going through all these different dimensions, fighting different versions of Goku, learning everything about his power, and winning each time, growing stronger in the process. It's truly going to be something amazing. And this is where we'll leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.